Okay, so in this video we will be discussing about some psychological facts, right? So let's begin with the first fact. It was given by Moscovici, right? So there was a psychologist whose name was Moscovici, and he said that the knowledge is not completely understood by the people, right? Suppose a new trend emerges in the market, right? Suppose in a society everybody is uh, some people made a diet process very famous, right? They follow a particular type of trend, and that trend became famous in society, right? So what happens, as people get to know about that trend, they do not completely understand the meaning of diet. They don't try to understand its complete meaning, that what that trend actually means. But what they start doing, they start discussing about that trend with every people they meet. So in that process what happens, that idea or that concept becomes famous among the people in society. However, the actual concept behind that trend, that why it started, does not become clear to people, right? For example, there is something we call in Hindi pratha. So in early history, people started some pratha for their convenience, for some their scientific uh, life. I mean, to follow some convenience in their life, they started some pratha, right? But people accepted those pratha blindly, and they began to they began to follow it blindly without knowing its meaning. So what happened then? That pratha became superstition, and this is how a big concept or a very complex concept gets very over simpler in society, and kind of it gets famous, and generally its core idea does not uh, get to people. Same happened with many leaders. They did something for society. They expected people to do follow those things which were their core ideologies, but people actually ended up in worshipping them, right? Now second fact is from Spencer. There is another psychologist called Spencer. He researched that the women who tends to be more competent, I mean those women who uh, are not conservative, those women which don't follow conservative rules, they actually try to compete with men by doing their studies and earning independently, right? Those women are often preferred by conservative men, because in a research he found that in society uh, conservative people tend to be uh, like conservative people think that women should not work, women should not be independent, rather they should serve their men, right? But in research it was actually found that those same conservative people preferred competent women or independent working women over conservative women, right? Those who are only housemakers, right? Now next fact is from Glasser. So there was a psychologist whose name was Glasser, and he said that maximum mental health problems can be cured by only good relationships. I mean, no poor financial condition, or no health issues, or not something other things. Only good relations between people can uh, cause you more good mental health, right? This can only cure your mental health. Now another fact is from, yes, Burner, right? So sorry, Brown. So according to Brown psychologist, some emotional moment happen in our life, and those moments can be traumatic. For example, suppose a terrorist attack is happened, right? And what will happen? Those people who were present on that attack on that place, they will remember everything they did that day, which food they ate after they went to the place, or which dress they were wearing, right? Even though they won't be recall which food they were eating last night, but they can recall what happened that day, where something big happened, any uh, airplane crash, or any type of attack, or any very big chaotic moment, right? This happens because when such traumatizing or very big event happens, our brain automatically starts recording that particular day or event, right? In such a manner, because there is a mechanism in our brain which remembers each and everything that happened that day, right? So this was, and next fact is from, um, I am not able to read the name. It is something like Werner or Ferner. I think it's Ferner. There was a psychologist whose name was Ferner. So Ferner said that any kind of uh, bad thing will happen to someone, that person who did bad to someone is not responsible, the person who suffered is responsible. Now why this happens? So according to Werner, he researched that in our society we tend to think that world is fair. We tend to think that good thing happens to good people, bad thing happens to bad people. Now this, because of this, what happens when someone is I mean, when someone suffers from a crime committed by another person, right? Suppose someone became victim of robbery, or someone became victim of a disease, or someone became sick, someone became homeless. So people tend to think that the victim or the sufferer, right, who is assaulted, who is harassed, or who is sick, uh, who is homeless, those person are responsible for what they are today, right? That person did not studied, that's why he is homeless. That person did not took care of his health, that's why he is sick. That person should not walk at night outside, that's why that person was criminally harassed, right? So people tend to think like that way, because the reason is people don't want to accept that world is unfair. They are not ready to accept that bad things can happen, more often can happen to good people. And this denial leads people to think that the one who is victim should be more careful, or something like that. However, it is true that victim should be careful, but it is not true that the person because of whom they suffered should not be responsible. So actually bad things can happen to good people, and especially many bad people can be there in society, right? So that was the theory given by Ferner, I guess. So yeah, that's for today. I will see you in the next video.